Hey guys, and welcome to the Chic Life, where we talk about overcoming your negative thoughts so you can manifest your dream life with ease. In today's video, I want to share my top learnings and a couple actions to take following a recent Abraham Hicks workshop that I had the pleasure of attending in San Francisco. So I went to this workshop at a hotel near the San Francisco airport, and I was so happy that I was able to go to this event. There were, I think, 800 people there, and if you're not familiar with Abraham Hicks and Jerry and Esther Hicks, then I highly recommend researching them. If you have any questions about them, do drop those in a comment below and I can answer, but I really just want to get straight to the big takeaways that I had so I can share what I've learned, because I have some new ways of thinking about manifestation, and I think you guys are really going to like the lessons that I learned at this workshop, so I'm excited to share them with you. Before that, I do want to give you a heads up that if you are feeling blocked by your manifestations, if you feel like they're not flowing the way you want them to, then I highly recommend subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on Instagram at The Chic Life, because I have some great videos coming out for you. I also am going to be doing an upcoming masterclass on how to overcome your manifestation blocks. So definitely stay tuned, because that will be free and I think you're gonna love it. Okay, jumping into the lessons. So the first lesson that I learned is that negative thoughts are good. So a question that I hear a lot is, how do I stop negative thoughts? How do I block negative thoughts? How do I overcome negative thoughts? And Abraham says that this is actually a flawed question, because negative thoughts are actually a good thing. Negative thoughts give us contrast. They show us what we really don't want. And when we know what we really don't want, we also know what we really do want. It's kind of like, how could you know what hot was if you didn't know what cold was? So Abraham says that knowing something you don't want launches rockets of desire in the opposite direction and places what you actually want into your vortex. So now it's actually just up to us to decide, which direction do we want to go towards? Do we want to go towards what we really don't want or towards what we really do want? So for example, if you are feeling frustrated about being single and you just find yourself having this negative thought like, God, I don't want to be single forever, that is also launching a rocket of desire the other way, that you want a committed relationship. So you are putting into your vortex a committed relationship, and now it is your job to get into a good feeling state, to bring your thoughts to a positive place, because they teach that when you do this, that allows you to tap into your vortex, and that's how your manifestations come to reality. So I will be sharing as the last takeaway a calibration exercise that I've not heard talked about by Abraham Hicks before, and I watch a lot of Abraham Hicks videos here on YouTube, so this is something that I haven't seen before, so I'm excited to share it with you. So the next time you find yourself feeling a negative thought, instead of giving into the fear and starting to get worked up about, oh no, I don't want this thing to happen, think to yourself, this is good because now I know what I do want, and try to get into the good feeling state that's going to allow you to tap into that vortex. And also, if you want, you can focus your attention on towards this thing that you do want and do it in a good feeling way. Think about how awesome it will be to already have this in your life and get into the energy of already having it so it becomes yours. Okay, second takeaway is kind of related to how do I make it mine. So what Abraham said is, don't assert, attract. So this is in regards to when people try to force a manifestation, when you're trying to make it happen. Abraham said, if you are not attracting, you're manipulating. And I see this a lot with people who are wanting a manifestation to come to reality so badly. A lot of what people will say is, I'm trying so hard to make this manifestation work. No matter what I do, I can't get this manifestation to work. And you can kind of feel that energy of effort and force and trying too hard. And that actually is a way to create resistance with what you're trying to manifest into your life. So rather than manipulate and assert something, you want to just attract it. And the way that you do that is by getting into a good feeling state. And when you're in a good feeling state, that's going to remove the resistance of that manifestation coming to your reality, and it's going to be able to come to you much more easily and quickly. Trying to assert a manifestation is kind of like ordering food at a restaurant and then going back into the kitchen, even though you don't actually know how to cook, and trying to assist the chef. You're trying to hand him tools that he doesn't even really need. You're trying to throw things into the frying pan that are not part of that recipe, and you are really just kind of messing up your manifestation. You're putting a bunch of stuff in there and you're just getting in the way of the chef, aka the universe, who knows how to create this manifestation for you and give it to you. So place your order and be excited about it coming. The key takeaway here is the next time you're feeling like it's too hard for your manifestation, you're trying too hard, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of like asserting, what you want to do is take a step back, stop trying so hard to force this manifestation and attract it, and focus instead of on this manifestation on just getting yourself aligned and getting into good energy, because that is how you're really going to attract this manifestation to you. So the third learning is that memories and your past are foes of where you're going. So this came up because someone was talking about therapy and talking about like past traumas, and Abraham was saying that you really don't want to focus too much. You don't even want to think about your past traumas, because that's going to calibrate you back to that negative place. So this is something I'm trying to balance, because in what I've been researching recently in terms of like healing, it's very good and necessary to deal with your past traumas. So this is like a bit of a tangent topic that I do want to make some other videos about, but just as a heads up, like this is something that I'm trying to figure out how to balance myself personally. But the example that Abraham gave to us at the workshop is like you're riding on a train, and on one side there's a junkyard view and on the other side there's an ocean view. So do you have to clean up the junkyard to decide to go look at the ocean view? You don't. You can just look the other way. So still trying to figure out how to apply this one to myself, but I think the way I'm seeing it is that you don't want to wallow in your past and focus so much on things that happened in the past that it's like dragging you into that energy, that lower state energy, because that'll calibrate you to lower vibes, and law of attraction, what your vibration is what you're going to attract. So I do still think at this time that it is good to kind of process it in terms of releasing it. But what Abraham is saying here is another option is, instead of trying to clean up the junkyard, just say, I'm going to go sit on the other side of the train instead. The fourth learning is to not calibrate to unstable things. And what Abraham means by unstable things, one of the big ones was people. So this is like you're going through your life, feeling good, you're going to yoga class, you're drinking your green juice, and then you run into a coworker or a friend who is really upset about something, they're in a super low vibe state, and so you lower your good feelings because you don't want to make the other person feel bad. Well, now you've calibrated to them and you've lowered your vibe to meet their lower vibe. So Abraham was just saying that we've got to stop calibrating to other people and we have to calibrate to ourselves, because inside each of us is a powerful source energy inner being, and if we can calibrate to that, we are going to be able to tap into that unlimited power and energy from source energy. So the takeaway here is, if you feel like you are lowering your vibe to try to meet other people, remember just to align yourself and focus on yourself and tap into your own inner energy. Raise your vibe, think about more yourself and what makes you happy, and try to get into your own good feeling state regardless. The fifth learning is that you can't change the way somebody feels about you, but you can change the way you feel about someone else. So this came up because a young lady came up to the hot seat and she was saying that she has a strained relationship with her mother. She feels really guilty around her mom because she feels like she's not meeting her mom's expectations. And so Esther, or I guess Abraham, reminded her that she can't change how her mom feels about her, about how she feels about her own life. Because she was saying, like, when it's just her, she can really get aligned, she can get her energy in check. But I guess when she deals with her mom and is living her best life, her mom kind of wants something different from her. So what Abraham is saying is she can't change the mom's feeling about life choices if the mom sees it in a different way. But what she can do is say, you know what, my mom's doing the best thing she can for me. She's doing this out of love. She's doing this because she wants the most for me. And to be able to stop and see that different way of looking at her mom gave her a lot of peace. So this reminds me of some of the best advice I've ever heard, which is that you can't change other people, only your reaction to them. So, and I think this applies best to kind of people that like you love. Like there are definitely toxic people in the world, and I think the best thing you can do when you are around toxic people is actually just remove yourself from toxic people. But when it comes to somebody that you're close with, someone you love, and you're feeling some friction there, what you need to do is, instead of, calibrating to that person like we just talked about, Instead, see that there is a little bit of friction there, but you don't have to calibrate to that. You can see that actually this person is wanting the best for you, and then it pivots it so that you are changing your feelings about that person instead. And this will allow you to protect your energy. So the sixth learning is to be thrilled about the process of your manifestation coming together, not just it arriving. So like I was talking about earlier, I hear a lot of people who are trying to force a manifestation, they're frustrated it's not here yet, and that's creating resistance. Whereas if you can enjoy the process of it, if you can see how what you want is slowly, bit by bit, coming into your reality, start noticing how different pieces of it are coming together to get you what you ultimately want, that's going to make your manifestations flow a lot better. It's going to make you a lot happier. It's going to remove that resistance. So only being happy about your manifestation arriving is sort of like having a box of Legos and being really frustrated at having to put all of the pieces together just so you can get the Lego car at the end. Legos are meant to be enjoyed. It's supposed to be a fun thing. You're supposed to enjoy the process of it coming together and finding the pieces and, ooh, this one goes here, and oh, look how it's coming together. And Abraham wants us to look at our manifestations in the same way. Like, ooh, look how this component of my manifestation is coming together. Look how this part of it is making it start to appear in my reality. So the key takeaway here is to just enjoy the process. Be paying attention to how different pieces of it are coming together and be really excited about it, and like almost like you're like a kid waiting to open a present. Like get into the energy of like, oh, it's coming together, and be excited about each little step along the way. It's sort of like a fun game that you get to enjoy and play, and you get to win every time. The seventh learning is how to understand your vibration. So one of the people in the hot seat, they were talking about their vibration, and so Abraham said, well, how are things turning out for you? And ultimately, Abraham said that there are two ways to tell how your vibration is. One is how you feel, and the second is how things are turning out for you. So in terms of how you feel, if you feel angry, if you feel frustrated, that is not your inner being. Your inner being is in a state of pure love and happiness and good energy. So if you are feeling a negative emotion, you are probably not tuned into your own inner being and your source energy, and that's a sign that you want to get back aligned to it. Likewise, if you feel like things aren't turning out the way you want them to, that's again a sign that you are not aligned. So if you're feeling negative emotions, if things aren't turning out the way you want them to, then these are signs that you need to work on getting back aligned with your source energy. Meditate, do something that feels good. Abraham also teaches us that if we're in a negative state, the easiest way for us to reset is to simply sleep. Go to bed at night and wake up refreshed and reset the next day. Take a nap, or at least leave whatever it is that you're focused on and give your attention to something else that makes you feel good. So the eighth learning was a new way to calibrate to your inner being and to that positive source energy. So Abraham walked through this with the workshop attendees who were sitting in the hot seat, and basically the way that you do this is this. If you've got something that you're feeling kind of negative about, something that's giving you friction, then you write that on, you get a notebook, write that on the left side of the paper, what's giving you friction, and also give some emotion feeling words about how you feel about it. On the right side is where you kind of calibrate back to yourself. So ask how you really feel about the situation and what your dominant thoughts are about yourself. So one of the examples that happened at the workshop was there was a gentleman in the hot seat, and he was talking about a situation that was giving him negative vibes, negative energy, which was his boss was micromanaging him. And so the emotions he was feeling about that was he was feeling foolish, he was feeling frustrated, he was feeling like not enough, he was feeling like a small cog in a wheel. And so after he stepped through that, you could tell he was getting kind of worked up about it. We started talking about the right side of the page for him, and Abraham asked him basically a bunch of like or questions. So she said, are you foolish or are you wise? And he said, wise. Do you believe you do a good job at work or a bad job at work? A good job. And so on. And they kind of went on a rant. So if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks, they do these rants where it's like you're kind of like getting into that good energy about yourself. And so you just want to like keep asking questions like, am I a powerful co-creator, or do I not know how to co-create my life? You're a powerful co-creator. Do I feel great about how my life's turning out and how awesome it's coming together? Yes. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, keep asking questions. And I would say this is one of those things where if you're feeling in a really low vibe state and you can't think about how good things are for you, how things really do turn out well, how maybe this is, like frustrating, but ultimately you know that your life is coming together beautifully. If you can't get into that energy at all, then I would set this aside and come back to it. But if you really think about it, you are a powerful co-creator. You've made cool manifestations happen. You are good at your job. You are smart. You are talented. Like, you kind of want to be, in this case, like your own best cheerleader, pumping yourself up, like giving yourself that good energy and reminding yourself about all of your really badass awesomeness. So anytime you're feeling a type of way about something, you can use this calibration exercise. Hopefully the way I explained it made a lot more sense. If you haven't done an Abraham Hicks workshop, then I highly recommend doing one, because like when they start going off on those like rants, like really pumping somebody up, you're just kind of in the audience like, yeah, and then you yourself are feeling it. And like basically one person can be in the hot seat and all of you get calibrated to this awesome positive energy. It's something you really just have to experience for yourself. And they do these workshops all over the country and even all over the world. In terms of the 2 actions that I really took from this, Abraham talked a lot about meditation and how meditation is really powerful for calibrating back to source energy. And I know I feel a lot more connected to source energy when I meditate. So if you're not meditating regularly, I highly recommend picking that up as a practice, even if you can only do 5 minutes a day, even if you can only do 5 minutes a week. Once a week is better than nothing, and we all got to start somewhere. The second thing is following your bliss. And that's actually like something Abraham said, follow your bliss. And they did acknowledge that this is not necessarily popular advice, because it sounds kind of like too frou-frou, but there is something really powerful about living intuitively, and I feel like that's what I've been doing these last 6 months while I've been on sabbatical, is instead of feeling like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and living by someone else's schedule, I've really just been kind of listening to myself and asking myself what I want to do. You really want to tap into your own intuition. Maybe you can't take a 6-month sabbatical, that's not really the point of this, but just try to listen more to yourself, and in any given moment, ask yourself, what will make you feel good? What would make you happy? Do you want to take a sun break from work? Do you not feel like going to that party? Maybe you need to have a night in and recharge. Do it. You're living your life for yourself, and tapping into your own intuition is one of the best ways to make yourself feel better, as well as reconnect with your source energy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want some more manifestation tips, if you want some more high vibe tips, ideas on how to overcome your negative thoughts and get your manifestations flowing, definitely follow me over on Instagram. I'm at The Chic Life. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because I have some cool stuff coming out for you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.